Good morning and welcome to Hope, Faith, and Joy Daily Devotion with me, Pastor Amanda. So it is this chapter 3 of Exodus is filled with so much good stuff. Actually, the next couple of chapters are filled with a lot of good stuff. So I'm going to just kind of highlight some of my favorite parts. So if you remember, yesterday we left off where Moses has kind of run away. He's trying to protect himself and he's off. Now he's had a family and he's just now a shepherd. He's just hanging out in the hills and the mountains, taking care of sheep and goats and just enjoying his life. And so, as he was taking care of the flock, we find that an angel of the Lord came into a bush and it went aflame, but it was not consumed. And so he looked at the bush and he decided that he wanted to figure out what was going on. And it's this beautiful little thing where Moses said, I must turn aside and look at this great sight and see why the bush is not burned up. And it says, when the Lord saw that he had turned aside, he called to Moses. Now, what I love about that is I almost start to wonder how many other times has God showed up? But Moses didn't take the time to stop and notice. Because that's really what's going on here. Like, in order for God to be able to speak to Moses, he has to stop and actually take a moment to pay attention. Oh my goodness, does that not sound like human behavior there? How many times have we found ourselves just trying to be so busy getting our stuff done that we don't realize that God's actually going like, "Hey, check me out. I'm right here, but I need you to stop so that I can have a conversation with you." And so this is just a really good reminder to look for those little ways that God talks to you. And you know what? Sometimes I even like to make a game of it. I know a friend and we like to make a game out of noticing that God is present and aware. And, find like if you like butterflies and then you see a butterfly and being like, oh yeah, or maybe when you see a certain type of bird or you have that just that key word that always reminds you of God. So whenever you hear it, you're just like, oh, hey God, you're around. So I think that's really important. God needs to be noticed first before God can talk sometimes. And so I love that about this particular verses. So then we find that God speaks to Moses and he does this wonderful, like you're on holy ground now and take off your shoes. And that just is a lot of trust on Moses's part to do that because it means that he trusts that God's going to protect him. Because the reality is, sandals were Moses's greatest protection as a shepherd. Protects his feet from whatever kind of rocky ground he's walking on, should there be something sharp or anything. And so, in that moment, he's putting his complete trust in God to protect him and keep him safe. And so I think that's a really kind of cool thing to see in this chapter also. And then, of course, what happens next is that God says, I have heard my people cry, and I want you to take care of it. This is profound right here. God hears the cry of the people. And does God just take care of it? Does God just go? No. God uses human beings to take care of human being problems. I have heard so many times where people are like, I'm going to turn away from God because God's not fixing the problem. Or I don't believe in God because if God was there, God would fix the problem. From the very beginning, people have created the problems, and God goes, let me give you some advice on how to take care of it. Do this and do that. But people don't listen. That's what I think happens. So, of course, Moses, starts out by going like, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt? And, he's like, this is ridiculous. But God then, for the next several verses, sets out the plan. First of all, tell him who I am. I am. I am God of your ancestors. I am the God who is with you. I am. I am present. I am there. I will be with you. And so, and God even goes, Pharaoh's not going to let him go right away. Pharaoh, I know that Pharaoh's going to have to see wonders out of us, but don't worry. I'm with you. I got this, but I need you to take some action in order for all of this to take place. And I love it. Like, God's like, I got this figured out. I know how it's going to work. Moses struggles with that just a little bit, and we'll see that in future chapters here. But really, today, what I get out of this is that one, we have to stop and notice God. We have to take a moment to like let our guard down, let our shields down, and vulnerably approach the burning bushes in our lives to hear what God's going to say, and realize that God's intent is to use you to help other people. It's not always about fixing ourselves. It's about helping other people in our brokenness, in our running away. Who is God trying to help through you? But you have to stop and listen. And don't get me wrong, we're going to see Moses is going to have a few excuses and concerns along the way. And you and I also have our excuses and our concerns and our why and why nots. Um, but the reality is, God still wants to use each and every one of us to help the world be free from oppression, to be free from slavery, to be free to experience abundant life and to, experience hope, faith, and joy. And so I hope that you can begin to take notice of God and listen to where God is calling you. So thanks for joining me, Pastor Amanda, with today's devotion, and I'll see you tomorrow.